Yes, I didn't see him. What are you looking so sad about, Jack?
I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talking about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I went on a Bum of the Month tour.
Bum of the month? I would have been a bum compared to you.
Well, you've been on the tour.
Oh.
What's happening, my people? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Historian bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Miss Cass, Mike Mazik, Mike Rim. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cat Sports, the Box Historian. Today, the Pacquiao-Marquez Series. The Pacquiao-Marquez Series. It's Monday. We always look at a classic fight series, trilogies, 4-fight series. Today, 6-fight series. We did Sugar Ray and Jake, remember? Today is going to be the classic between Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez. 4 great fights, and the series ended with a bang, decisively. Okay? That's what we're going to look at today. But it's good to see everybody. It's Monday, right at the beginning of a big week of boxing history. Hope everybody had a great weekend. There wasn't a whole lot. Wasn't no big names. Danny Garcia was in there. He got his win. I think that's going to be the final fight of his career or something like that. But yeah. And headed toward November in that big We Are season card with David Benavidez and Anthony Yard, and the big one being Devin Haney and Brian Norman. Is that on? Something just keep telling me that something gonna happen. Somebody gonna get hurt. That fight ain't gonna happen. I just got that feeling that, we're anticipating that fight so much. Something gonna happen to derail it. It's not gonna happen in November. But hopefully I'm wrong. Okay. But yeah, we got a big show today. We're gonna talk about Manny and Juan Manuel. Each of the 4 fights. Manny the Pac-Man Pacquiao, Dinamita, Juan Manuel Marquez. Each of the 4 fights, we're gonna do a little lead up to them, background. We're gonna look at the fight, and then we're gonna look at the aftermath, okay? And we're gonna look at the event surrounding each fight when it took place, all 4 of them. We're gonna look at their boxing styles. All of that today on Cast Sports, the Box Story, bringing you all of that boxing history. But first, we got to reach into the archives and come up with our fight of the day to start the show off. So let's get into that. Okay? Yeah, let's get that fight of the day so we can get into this great series. The Pac-Man and Dinamita on Manuel Marquez. Plus, he had a brother, Rafael, that was a pretty good boxer, too. I think they both in the Hall. What am I doing? They both in the Hall of Fame. Okay, but here we go with the fight of the day. Okay, Just Do Boxing in the building. Salute Just Do Boxing. Coming up at 4 p.m. today with some more balanced, unbiased boxing talk for us, giving everybody their Just Do. Salute Just Do. We're going to look at Manny the Pac-Man Pacquiao and Dinamita, Juan Manuel Marquez today, or Dynamita. Okay. So let's begin. But the fight of the day first is, I got the wrong one up there, but we'll get it right. But it's between Jose Luis Castillo versus Diego Corrales, 1, May 7th, 2005. So we didn't reach down that deep into the archives today, early in the millennium. May 7th, 2005, Castillo versus Corrales. A salute to Miss Cass, Mike Mazik, Mike Rim, and Just Do Boxing in the building so far. Now, the point of this article is simply to pay homage to a truly great fight. As simple as that. Nothing more and nothing less. Let's forget that Jose Luis Castillo and Diego Corrales ever fought again, or that Corrales died in 2007 after deciding to get on his motorcycle while drunk. Let's forget everything that followed this amazing Donnybrook, that is, everything that is arguably the greatest action fight of the 21st century. Let's not even dwell on how the fight was decided, in part by Corrales buying himself extra time to recover by spitting out his mouthpiece. Right now, let's ignore the negatives and instead just remember 29 minutes and 6 seconds of amazing excitement, the kind only boxing can create. Yeah, the kind only boxing can create. At the time, most keen observers of the fight business anticipated something special. This was, after all, a battle between proud champions. Castillo held the WBC lightweight title. Corrales owned the WBC version. Both warriors were in their physical primes, and both were riding waves of momentum after significant wins. Castillo, who many thought deserved to be credited with a points victory over Floyd Mayweather Jr. just 2 years previously in 2002, had rebounded from the subsequent rematch defeat to Floyd to post 6 straight wins. Meanwhile, Diego Chico Corrales, who also had a loss to Pretty Boy on his record, was coming off a revenge decision victory over Joel Casamayor, which was followed by a big stoppage win over Acelino Freitas that earned him his 3rd world title. Okay? Earned him his 3rd world title. So, from the opening round to the spellbinding finish, this was gorgeously violent stuff. Now, most anticipated the taller and longer Diego would exploit his reach advantage by being busy with his jab and straight right. But early on, it was evident that distance and tactical boxing would not be the dominant themes. Instead, it was all about power, bravery, and non-stop action at close quarters. The opening round saw Castillo looking to score with heavy artillery to Diego's body, while Corrales aimed upstairs, the round ending with a brutal exchange of power shots at ring center. Round 2 only upped the intensity, the back and forth blitzes coming fast and furious. This was Diego's round as he stunned Castillo with some scorching combinations, forcing the Mexican to give ground. Round 3 saw both land their share of damaging clouts. The spectacle of unbridled toe-to-toe warfare joined cries and moans from the crowd as first one and then the other landed heavy shots to both body and head. Now, the busier Corrales appeared to have the edge, but the end of the round saw Castillo stun his man with a series of powerful blows. As if in response, Corrales leapt out for the start of round 4, firing hooks with abandon. A minute later, he buckled Jose's legs with a left, but Castillo responded by ripping both fists to Diego's body and scoring a greater number of clean punches for the remainder of the round, which was, for the most part, another prolonged four-fisted exchange in the middle of the ring. Yeah, this was a real Donnybrook here. They were going at it. And so it went. Castillo now had a serious cut over his left eye, but the wound did nothing to discourage the Mexicans' offensive output. But a furious round 5 belonged to Diego, and Castillo's corner urged him to pick up the pace in round 6, which he did. The middle rounds were marked by both men struggling to gain the upper hand, the momentum shifting back and forth. Round 6 belonged to the Mexican, as he staggered Diego at the end of it with uppercuts and right hands. But Corrales rebounded in an amazingly intense round 7, as he hurt the tough as nails Castillo with a right at the bell. But if Corrales edged that round, the momentum appeared by a slim margin to be with the sturdier Castillo, as rounds 8 and 9 saw the Mexican outwork his opponent and also land some hard shots south of the border. Both rounds not ending before Castillo had buckled the legs of his tiring quarry. In a portent of things to come, Jose's onslaught near the end of round 8 dislodged Diego's mouthpiece, and the struggle was briefly paused so it could be reinserted. With a minute left in the 9th, Castillo was rocked by a right, but he rebounded to hurt Corrales with his own right, and then score a beautiful uppercut right-hand combination. At the bell, both men landed thunderous blows. Castillo the left hook, Diego the right hand. And there's a knockdown late in the fight. Okay, bear with me for one moment. There we go. Okay. So, when the fighters left their corners for round 10, the fight was clearly still up for grabs, and both bore the wounds of war. The left eye of Corrales was almost swollen shut, while Castillo's cut was still a concern. But very soon, none of that would matter. We all know what happened next. A truly vicious left hook from Castillo, just 20 seconds in, scores the first knockdown of the fight, and out comes the mouthpiece. Time is called. The mouthpiece is restored. 2 more left hooks, and down goes Chico, and out comes the mouthpiece again. Time is called. The mouthpiece goes back in. This time, a point is deducted. Joe Goosen makes his famous pronouncement, and then it happens. And then it happens. Seemingly, a wounded and fading fighter, it is Corrales who hurts Castillo with a right hand and forces him to retreat. Then a big left hook lands. Suddenly it's Castillo whose back is to the ropes. And then a series of clean punches leaves the Mexican helpless. Referee Tony Weeks has no choice. The match is stopped. And that is how legends and legendary fights are made. Now, neither man would ever be the same. And Diego Corrales is no longer with us. But this great battle will live forever. And there you have it, the fight of the day. Diego Corrales, Jose Luis Castillo, won by Diego Corrales. Okay, so now we go to the Manny Pacquiao Manuel Marquez Series. Tetralogy, 4-fight series. Okay, bear with me for one moment. Things set up there. Bear with me for one moment, please. We're gonna get started. This great 4-fight series between these two legends. All right. Okay. Time permitting, we're going to look at some other Mexican and Filipino fighters too. Some other Mexican and Filipino greats of boxing. Time permitting. Later in the show. Okay. Because I think this might run till like 3:15 or something like that. So we're going to have time to look at some other greats for Mexico and the Philippines. But now let's get started with this great series. Okay. The Pacquiao-Marquez Series. But how's everybody? I hope everybody had a great weekend. We're starting off another big week of boxing history. On Cat Sports, the Box Story, bringing you all that boxing history. Okay, let's go. The Pacquiao vs. Marquez series consists of 4 closely contested and controversial fights between Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez. The series began with a draw in 2004, followed by a split decision win for Pacquiao in 2008, and a majority decision win for Pacquiao in 2011, both of which were controversial. The series concluded with a dramatic knockout victory for Marquez in the 4th and final fight in 2012. Okay, fight number 1, May 8th, 2004. Ended in a controversial draw after Pacquiao knocked Marquez down 3 times in the first round. Many observers felt Marquez won enough of the subsequent rounds to earn a decision. Fight number 2, March 15th, 2008. A split decision win for Pacquiao, which was also seen as controversial by many, including Marquez. Fight number 3, November 12th, 2011. Pacquiao won by majority decision, a result that was met with loud boos from the crowd and further fueled the controversy surrounding the rivalry. Fight number 4, December 8th, 2012. The final fight ended decisively when Marquez knocked Pacquiao out in the 6th round with a powerful overhand right, a spectacular finish to their legendary rivalry. Okay, so now let's take a brief look at both fighters' styles. Now, first, the Pac-Man, Manny Pacquiao. Brief look at both fighters' fighting styles. Okay. Manny Pacquiao's boxing style was a unique blend of speed, power, and relentless pressure, characterized by his aggressive, fast-paced approach, excellent footwork, and southpaw stance. He was known for overwhelming opponents with a high volume of punches, including the use of angles, feints, and unique combinations to create openings and deliver devastating blows. Okay, just a little brief look. Now, Marquez, take a brief look at Marquez's style. Dynamita or Dinamita. Okay, take a brief look at Marquez's style. Oh, I thought I put Marquez. There's Marquez right there. Now, Juan Manuel Marquez was primarily a counterpuncher and a boxer puncher known for his technical precision, patience, and aggressive, offensive-minded style that evolved throughout his career. He was a master of strategy, using his sharp jab, powerful uppercuts, and devastating right hand to punish opponents who advanced on him. Now, while initially known for a more disciplined, cerebral approach, he later became a more aggressive, crowd-pleasing fighter. Okay, Juan Manuel Marquez. So that's a brief look at both fighters' boxing style. This is the Bobfather himself. Excuse me for one more moment. It is the Bobfather himself in between these two fighters. The Bob Father era, legendary, one of the most significant people in boxing history. I did a top 50 most significant people in boxing history. The Bob Father and Don King were both top 5. Okay, both top 5. Stay with me for 1 minute. I'm trying to figure out stuff. Yeah, okay. I was saying if I was pronouncing that name right, Dinamita. That's it. Yeah, Dina. I had it right the first time. Dinamita. Okay, I had the man's name right. Okay, let's get into this trilogy now. If two champions can go head to head 4 times, and there's still a legitimate argument about who is better, then all should be sure of one thing. Both fighters are greats of the sport. A small number of fights in boxing are so enthralling, so close, and so entertaining that they justify a rematch to determine who is truly the better fighter. Often, this rematch leads to a trilogy, since claiming a victory apiece rarely sits well with fighters or fans. However, a handful of rivalries throughout history have captured the imagination of fans to such a degree that they demanded a 4th fight. One such epic encounter was that of Manny Pacquiao versus Dinamita, Juan Manuel Marquez. It says, hell no way. My Vikings gave it up. I don't even know. They was playing the Eagles yesterday, right? I don't even know who won. Well, the Eagles, I think the Eagles, wasn't it like 31-7? Was that their game? Yeah. Okay. Now, the reason this matchup was so enthralling is due to the style of each fighter. Both guys were known for their aggressive approach on the front foot, tunnel vision, with only one thing in mind: to put their opponent on the canvas. Pacquiao's continuous aggression and non-stop body and foot movement made him enamored within the sport. An explosive southpaw with a deadly wide left hook, his 1-2 straight combination was a thing of legend. Now, Marquez encapsulated that Mexican fighting spirit. A fearless counterpuncher who could mix it up. His brutal body punches brushed many a worthy opponent aside. Okay, so now let's go to fight number 1. Stop messing around. Okay, let's look at fight number 1 in this legendary 4-fight series. It's tetralogy. Yeah, I learned the new word this weekend. Tetralogy. It's something to do with a 4-fight series. Okay, fight number 1. Okay. Juan Manuel Marquez versus Manny Pacquiao 1. Billed as Hearts and Fists on Fire was a professional boxing match contested on May 8th, 2004 for the WBA, IBF, and the ring featherweight titles. Okay? On November 1st, 2003, reigning IBF featherweight champion Juan Manuel Marquez captured the WBA version of the title after defeating Derek Gainer by technical decision on the undercard of the Floyd Mayweather Jr. Philip Nadal lightweight title fight. 2 weeks later, IBF Super Bantamweight champion Manny Pacquiao made his featherweight debut, defeating Marco Antonio Barrera by 5th round technical knockout to claim the ring featherweight title and lay claim to the lineal featherweight championship. Okay? Following his impressive and decisive victory over Barrera, Pacquiao's fame and popularity began to rise, leading to him signing a multi-million-dollar deal with HBO, allowing the channel to exclusively broadcast his fights. After the HBO deal was signed, Pacquiao's promoter, Murad Muhammad, agreed to terms with Marquez's promoter, Bob the Father Arum, that would see Pacquiao face Marquez on May 8th, 2004. Now, though Marquez had competed as a featherweight for over a decade, while Pacquiao was a newcomer to the division, it was Pacquiao that was installed as the minus 170 favorite, with Marquez a plus 150 underdog. Both fighters planned to move up to super featherweight after this fight and had potential big title fights lined up should they be victorious. Marquez tentatively expected to challenge IBF featherweight champion Carlos Hernandez, while Pacquiao had agreed to face WBA super featherweight champion Eric Morales. That's IBF super featherweight champion Carlos Hernandez. That's who Marquez was going to move up and face, and Pacquiao was going to move up and face super featherweight champion Eric Morales. Pacquiao's already announced plans to challenge Morales, and his perceived overlooking of Marquez annoyed Marquez, who stated, "He can talk all he wants about his next fight. I'm just concentrating and being serious about this one." Okay. Now, Pacquiao got off to a great start, scoring 3 knockdowns on Marquez during the first round. The first knockdown, which came just under halfway through the round, was a flash knockdown in which Marquez got back up quickly and did not appear to be seriously hurt. But only 20 seconds later, Pacquiao sent Marquez down again with a left hand. Then, with around 40 seconds left in the round, another left hand sent Marquez sprawling into the ropes, which temporarily held him up, before another Pacquiao punch sent him down for a third time in the round. And Marquez answered the referee's count at 8. And though Pacquiao furiously attacked Marquez in hopes of ending the fight early, Marquez survived the round, though his nose was bloody and he was clearly disoriented. Now, though his poor first round left him in a large hole on the scorecard, Marquez was able to rebound, and the remainder of the fight was a close back and forth contest that went the full 12-round distance. Now, when the fight went to the scorecards, Judge John Stewart had scored the fight 115-110 in favor of Pacquiao. Judge Guy Jutras also scored the fight 115-110, but in favor of Marquez. And Bert A. Clements scored it a draw at 113-113, resulting in a split draw. For the result of the contest was a split draw for the first fight, okay? Split draw. Now, there was controversy regarding the official scoring of the fight, as Judge Bert A. Clements had scored the first round 10-7 in favor of Pacquiao, rather than 10-6 as the other two judges had, which would have given Pacquiao a split decision win. Now, Clemens admitted that he did not realize that he could score around 10-6 and took responsibility for his error, stating, "I feel badly because I dropped the ball, plainly and simply. You can make a lot of arguments that it was a very close fight, but that's immaterial. The fact is, I dropped the ball." And there was also controversy surrounding Judge Guy Jutris's scorecard. The Pacquiao camp had objected his selection prior to the fight. And after scoring the first round 10-6 in favor of Pacquiao, Jutris only had Pacquiao winning one more round the entire fight, while scoring the other 10 rounds in Marquez's favor. Finally, Pacquiao's promoter, Murad Muhammad, criticized referee Joe Cortez for allowing the fight to continue after Pacquiao had scored his third knockdown over Marquez in the first round. Complaining to the media, Murad said, "He grabbed my kid and I'm coming up the steps thinking the fight is over. But then Cortez let the fight go on." Okay, so a lot of controversy surrounding that first fight. So nothing got settled. So of course, they had to go to fight number 2, right after that. Draw, a lot of controversy. Both sides had a good argument that, Pacquiao thought he should have been stopped in the first round after all those knockdowns. Marquez thought he dominated the fight after the first round and thought he should have won it. So, the rematch. Juan Marquez versus Manny Pacquiao 2. Billed as Unfinished Business was contested on March 15th, 2008 for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship. Oh yeah, the first fight was at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Paradise, Nevada, okay? Now this fight, the second fight, took place at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, Nevada, and was distributed by HBO Pay-Per-View. This fight was the second of the Pacquiao-Marquez 4-fight series. The first fight had been surrounded by controversy, from the judges' scorecards to some thinking the referee Joe Cortez should have stopped the contest after Pacquiao knocked Marquez down for the third time in the first round. Now, this was Pacquiao's first world title fight since his December 2004 win over the Ron Grit Pirang, or something like that. Okay? So this time, Pacquiao defeated Marquez by split decision, knocking him down once in the third round, and two of the judges scored at 115-112 and 114-113 for Pacquiao, while the third judge scored at 115-112 in favor of Marquez. Okay? Split decision for Pacquiao this time. Now, the knockdown by Pacquiao was the result of a picture-perfect counter left cross. That single point on the scorecards is what separated the rematch from ending as a draw for the second consecutive fight. Now, the knockdown also saved Pacquiao from a slow start, as Marquez had picked up where it left off following his strong finish to the first encounter. Marquez began the second fight by countering Pacquiao with pinpoint accuracy. Deep cuts above the right eyes of both fighters played a major role at different points, including the one on Pacquiao's eye that fueled a Marquez rally in the 8th round. Now, when the rematch ended, it actually seemed to be a closer fight than the draw in the first meeting. Okay? But Pacquiao gets this one. BBO Sports TV in the building. Salute, BBO. We're looking at the 4-fight series between Manny Pacquiao and Juan Marquez today. BBO Sports TV from the Sports Talk Network, 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Salute, BBO. Yeah, so Manny gets the second fight. But again, controversy. After the fight, Pacquiao admittedly considered this fight as his most difficult fight since their first matchup in 2004. He had a few fights since then, right? With the victory, Pacquiao became the first Asian boxer to win world titles in 4 different weight classes. The Marquez and his Mexican following felt he was robbed by the judges again, both the first and second fights, because he was the less popular. Marquez felt he was robbed in both fights because he was the less popular fighter and the star was less beautiful to watch. Now, a good number of fight fans agreed with him. Thus, the seeds were planted for a legendary rivalry which would grip boxing for years to come. On the one hand, the gritty underdog Marquez, forced to overcome what he perceived as an underlying bias, and the people's champion Pacquiao, obsessed with obtaining a convincing victory over dexterous opponent to silence the haters once and for all. Okay, so the first fight was a draw. The second fight had more controversies around it. Marquez and his followers felt he was robbed. So, hey, had to go to the trilogy. After that, Arnie Boxing in the building. What's up, Arnie Boxing? And let's pause for a minute. I'm going to give Arnie Boxing his flowers. Saturday night, Arnie Boxing had a 12,000 view show. Wow. Congratulations, Arnie Boxing. Great job. Great show, great job. All right, congratulations, Arnie Boxing. Great show. Saturday night, 12,000 views. Okay, and I done lost where I was at. But salute, Arnie Boxing. Salute. Good to see you today, my friend. Oh yeah, 3. Pacquiao-Marquez 3. That's where we are now. Yeah, during the first fight, and then Marquez and his followers felt that he was robbed in both fights because his style wasn't as beautiful as Manny's and he wasn't as popular. So we go to the trilogy now. Okay, we go to the trilogy. Pacquiao-Marquez number 3. So Manny Pacquiao versus Juan Manuel Marquez 3, billed as the 25th round, right? Billed as the 25th round begins. Because, both of the first 2 fights went the full distance. The 25th round begins. Now, this fight was on November 12, 2011. It was for the WBO welterweight championship. Now, Pacquiao and Marquez had previously faced each other twice. Both encounters were shrouded in dispute and controversy with regards to who had won. And this subsequently led to a rubber match between the 2 fighters, where Freddie Roach, Pacquiao's trainer, said that he wanted to leave all doubt behind in this fight. Okay? Freddie Roach, Manny's trainer, said he didn't want to leave no doubt after this one. Okay? So, a 4-city press tour covering an estimated 25,000 miles across 3 countries started on September 3rd in Pacquiao's hometown, Manila, and ended on September 8th in Marquez's native Mexico City, with 2 other cities in between, right? Now, the fight marked the second time Marquez jumped from lightweight to welterweight. His first attempt was a September 2009 loss to Floyd Mayweather Jr., who was making his return to boxing in that fight. And Marquez was jumping from lightweight to welterweight again, this time against Manny. Okay? Now, the fight took place back at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada, where the first fight was at, and was distributed by HBO pay-per-view at a catch weight of 144 pounds. Okay, 144 catch weight. Now, the fight also marked the return to HBO for Pacquiao and drew 1.4 million pay-per-view buys. Now, by the time of this, the third meeting, Pacquiao had become a boxing sensation. His action-packed and free-flowing style making him one of the most popular fighters in the game at that time. Now, Marquez remained unfazed, though, because Marquez said, I got work to do. You know, he wasn't worrying about Manny's popularity. Marquez said, I got work to do, okay? So let's look at what happened. Fight number 3. Mike Rim says, the funniest thing about Pacquiao, he had 20 fights against 4 opponents. Wow, that's a lot. That's like in the old days, how they used to fight, you know? One opponent numerous times. So yeah, Mike, 4 fights, 20 fights against 4 opponents. Yeah, that wasn't that common nowadays. Wow, I did not know that. Okay, thank you, Mike. Okay, now fight number 3. Like I said, Manny was one of the most popular in the game by that time fight, and Marquez wasn't fazed. Marquez said, I got work to do. This was undoubtedly one of the closest title fights in the modern era. Pacquiao started off strong, picking up 2 of the first 3 rounds, 2 or 3 of the first 4 rounds, utilizing his fast feet and excellent boxing body movement, consistently launching that famous left jab straight down the middle, right? Now, Marquez replied with aggressive strikes of his own, though, regularly finding a home for his counter left hook, left body punch. Now, throughout the middle rounds, Marquez began to edge the fight, landing a huge right on the button in the 5th round, immediately followed by a perfectly timed uppercut and right cross. In the 9th round, both fighters let their hands go, raining blows in a flurry of both frantic and highly accurate strikes. Now, most people had Marquez ahead or a draw going into the final 2 rounds, into the championship rounds, where Marquez inexplicably took his foot off the gas, right? Ultimately, Pacquiao won by a majority decision, a decision that was utterly booed by the Las Vegas crowd, and ultimately laid the foundation for the 4th and final meeting. Now, the judges' scorecards in this one read 114, 114, and the other 2 had 115, 113, 116, 112, both for Pacquiao, giving him the win by majority decision in this one. Okay, so now Pacquiao goes up 2-0, 1 draw. 2-0, 1 draw for the Pac-Man. Now, according to CompuBox, Marquez was outlanded by an average of 3 punches per round. And Pacquiao also threw 142 punches more than Marquez and landed 38 more punches, connecting at a higher percentage rate in power shots too. Now, throwing jabs, Marquez turned out to be the one landing a higher percentage rate, despite being outlanded in jabs 59-38. Okay? Now, again, there was controversy. Marquez's fans in the audience believed he had won the fight. Some of them reacted to the decision by throwing food, beer, and ice into the ring. You just start throwing stuff into the ring, food, beer, and ice. Man, how does them beers costed them fights? I would have been drinking mine. I might throw the bottle in there after I finish. But anyway, some Filipino TV news networks and their internet news websites showed photos of Marquez stepping on Pacquiao's foot 6 times. But such occurrences are normal or common between orthodox and southpaw fighters as they attempt to keep their lead foot outside of their opponents. Okay? So now, Marquez still wasn't happy. You know, Manny got 2-0 with one draw, but Marquez said, no, we got to have the fourth one. So, you know, very rarely you get 4, but this one we got 4. The 4th fight in this series. Let's take a look at that. Fight number 4 in this classic trilogy. And we're going to talk about some other Mexican and Filipino fighters after. A couple other Mexican and Filipino fighters after this. And then we're going to get some link time at the end of the show, too. Okay? So let's go to fight number 4. Now, Polymath Nassim Taleb submits that a system in which volatility is suppressed is an ideal catalyst for mayhem. Such a setting will behave as a ticking bomb. The crucial difference that the potential for destruction increases exponentially over time. The more suppressed the system, the more its inherent tension increases. Such tension will inevitably, sooner or later, find a way to explode in an unpredictable and often dangerous manner. Okay? The Pacquiao versus Marquez rivalry began with a bang, thanks to the violent rendition of fistic prowess offered by the Filipino icon in the first round of the opening fight in their 4-fight series. Around the saw Marquez visited the canvas 3 times. But following that, most of the rounds up to and including those of fight number 3 can be defined as a contest between Manny's desire to explode and Marquez's determination to contain him. Manny's desire to explode and Marquez's determination to contain him. Now, over the course of 3 extremely close fights, Pacquiao attacked while Marquez countered. The southpaw trying time and again to set the ring on fire, while Juan Manuel quickly doused the flames with cerebral counterpunching. Momentum switched back and forth, but the dial never failed to return to dead center, leaving those of us watching to call the pairing one of the most evenly matched in boxing history. For this reason, the reaction of fans and media alike when their 4th meeting was announced was nearly unanimously a long sign followed by a sad "why?" We were repeatedly reminded by professional and amateur keyboardists alike of the old dictum that insanity is repeating the same action over and over while expecting a different result. Was the world of boxing going mad? Pacquiao versus Marquez 4 made no sense. We had seen it 3 times and kept getting the same result. But most who shared that opinion failed to take into account the tension accumulating in the rivalry through 36 rounds of inconclusive results. The great Filipino whale has failed to fully commit to his attack, kept honest by Dinamita's adroit management of Pacquiao's violent instincts. Marquez's bitterness had been fermenting to the point of disgust after what he deemed 3 unfair scoring verdicts. Pacquiao is only pleased with himself if he's successful in pleasing those around him. If closure is what the rest of us wanted, Pacquiao and Marquez needed it. Okay? Closure is what most of us wanted. Pacquiao and Marquez needed it. to fans. The close rounds and controversial judging were at worst a nuisance. They pointed to how well matched the Filipino and the Mexican were. But to the two athletes, putting their very lives in peril in the ring, the lack of clarity was a psychological burden, dragging them down. Now, while Marquez felt disrespected by the judges' lack of appreciation of his craft, Manny felt more and more the need to dispatch the Mexican convincingly to please not only his adoring fans and his country, but also his beloved coach, and last, and most of all, the fighting beast within himself. The fighting beast within himself. Okay? So the triggering event that unleashed the accumulated tension of 8 years of rivalry was a colossal right hand thrown by Juan Manuel Marquez that floored Pacquiao in round 3. Okay? Your man had went down before that brutal stoppage. Marquez put him down in round 3. The man had asserted his power during the first 2 rounds, just enough to win those episodes, as well as a fraction of the third. But all the while, Marquez had been studying his opponent. He used a weak jab to grab the attention of the Filipino, reorienting his focus away from the right hand, which this time Marquez threw not straight down the pipe, as is his custom, but arced over the top. The blow gaining momentum as it traveled through the air, finally impacting on the left side of Pacquiao's head and dropping, bursting in a split second the aura of invincibility that has surrounded the Pac-Man for so long. Now, Manny immediately rose and continued fighting, recovering quickly. As he then continued to implement his game plan, which consisted of continuous aggression and non-stop movement, Marquez refrained from engaging fire with fire. His counterpunching wasn't as effective as it had been in previous encounters, multi-punch combinations notably absent. But he had made his mark. There was still time to reel in the great whale in the rounds to come. It is Manny on the mat, but Marquez on the mat this time. Okay. They both had visited the mat before that brutal knockout in the 6th. Now, Pacquiao dominated most of rounds 5 and 6. In the 5th round, Pacquiao scored a knockdown with a stiff, strong left. And in fact, most of the damage he inflicted on Marquez, including but not limited to a broken nose, was produced by the trusty missile he calls his left hand. Yeah, that's the 5th round knockdown right there by Manny. Okay? The punch landed frequently and effectively, whether as a lead shot or as a follow-up on a right jab, or as part of a combination. Now, by the end of round 5, the Mexican's face was a gruesome mess, with blood flowing freely from his nostrils, making it hard for him to breathe, much as it had at the end of the infamous first round 8 years ago. First round of that first fight. You know, man, he had Juan Marquez's nose flowing blood freely. And it was like that again after the 5th round. His face was a mess. It was clear fight number 4 had already become the most consistently violent meeting between the two fighters. Marquez was in a war similar to the one he had found himself in against Juan Baby Bull Diaz, with the difference being that Pacquiao's punches were several orders of magnitude more painful to receive than Diaz's had been. At the same time, Pacquiao was on the road to another vintage performance on the same level as his knockouts of Eric Morales and more recently, Miguel Cotto. He was pushing the action successfully, landing shots accurately and breaking down his opponents systematically. Okay? Yeah, man, he was starting to like dominate a little going into that 6th round. Now, while Pacquiao released his frustration at being kept captive by Marquez's style in the previous fights, while Manuel was in visible trouble. But mentally, he was still very much in the fight. He was getting hit and hurt, but he knew exactly what was happening. And he knew that, though time was against him, there still would be a chance to make Pacquiao pay for his greedy aggression. Now, both had promised a knockout coming into this fight. And Manny began looking for it the moment he got up from the canvas in the 3rd round. But Marquez knew that it worked to his advantage. Dinamita wouldn't even have to look for the knockout, okay? He didn't even have to look for it. Instead, Pacquiao would create the circumstance for Marquez to score it. Dinamita didn't have to look for the knockout. Pacquiao would create the circumstance for Marquez to score his knockout, okay? Yeah. Manny was his own worst enemy with that aggression. There it is. See that? Look at that. Woo. Now, this moment occurred in the dying seconds of round 6. An overeager Pacquiao carelessly threw himself at Marquez after another 3-minute-long display of power punching. After throwing a jab, which he no doubt intended to follow with a left bomb, he suddenly found himself out of position and rushing face first into Marquez's right fist. The punch was short and stiff, but perfectly timed and placed, causing the Filipino to fall like a board to the floor. All the lights inside his head turned off. A 10 count would have been a perverse exercise in sarcasm at that point, after that shot. Yeah, that's where he caught him. Right there. And there it is. Manny is done. Stick a fork in it. And thus, Marquez earned the most significant and sweetest victory of his career, sending people in his native Mexico City out of their homes and into the streets to celebrate at the Angel de la Independencia, a practice usually reserved for important wins by the national soccer team. Okay? Marquez transcended sport in Mexico, and this accomplishment, no doubt, began the debate on whether he should be regarded on the same level with Mexican greats such as Salvador Sanchez and Julio Cesar Chavez. But what was clear was Juan Manuel Marquez was more than happy to close this chapter of his career with the scalp of the foe he had pursued and obsessed over for so many years. Yep, Juan Manuel got this one. Now, Pacquiao's camp quickly voiced the desire of the Filipino to fight on after his setback. After all, the outcome was not the result of Manny aging or his boxing skills diminishing. His knockout loss can be directly attributed to his desire to once again be the Manny of old. He behaved more aggressively than he had since the opening 3 minutes of the rivalry 8 years earlier when he had put Marquez on the canvas 3 times. In the final fight, Manny had success with his aggression until his final reckless charge when he ran into the overhand right that ended the series. Yep. There's your winner of the final fight. Manuel Marquez. Okay? The unstoppable force called Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao clashed against the immovable object called Dinamita, Manuel Marquez. Dinamita prevailed. Okay, so now let's sum it up. Let's sum this classic series up. Okay? Let's sum this classic series up now. Now, this classic four-fight series was defined by contrasting styles, controversial decisions, and intense back-and-forth action that ended with a dramatic knockout. Now, Pacquiao's aggressive, offensive-minded style was a perfect foil for Marquez's counterpunching and cerebral boxing skills. The fights were incredibly close, with momentum swinging back and forth and a significant amount of action in every fight. The first three fights ended in controversial decisions that left Marquez feeling that he had been robbed of victories, leading to the demand for a fourth fight. And the fourth fight provided a definitive and dramatic conclusion with a one-punch knockout that settled the score once and for all. And there you have it, the Pacquiao-Marquez trilogy. Okay, so now we got some, we're going to talk about some other Mexican and Filipino greats. Okay, starting with Mexican, Ruben Olivares. Okay, excuse me for one moment. One momento. Give me like 2 minutes. And we're going to talk about some other Mexican and Filipino greats. We're going to start with Ruben Olivares. Okay, BRB. Be right back. BRB. Yes. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I'm back. Yeah. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So now we're gonna look at Ruben Olivares first. Some other, since we talked about Pac-Man and Manuel, we're gonna look at some other Filipino and Mexican fighters now. Starting with Ruben Olivares of Mexico. Okay, let's take a look at Ruben. Little brief talk about Ruben. Great Mexican fighter. Okay. How was everybody's weekend? Mine was good. Okay. 78 years ago in Mexico City, Mexico, the great Ruben Olivares was born. Now, before Julio Cesar Chavez came along, the passionate Mexican fans bestowed on Rockabye Ruben the highest honor, that of being the greatest fighting man their country had ever produced. To this day, plenty of boxing historians rate Olivares, who ruled the world at bantamweight and featherweight, as the finest bantamweight of all time. Okay? Now, going pro at the young age of 17, Olivares scored a first-round knockout in April of 1965. Olivares would soon romp to 22 straight knockout wins. During this time, only German Bastadas German Bastardars managed to put any sort of blemish on Oliveira' record, holding him to a draw in 1967. It was 2 years later when Oliveira, sporting an incredible 52 wins, no losses, 1 draw record, became world bantamweight king, knocking out the great Lionel Rose in the 5th round in Inglewood, California. 22-year-old Oliveira was now a star. An intense rivalry with countryman Chuco Castillo soon followed. The first battle came in April of 1970, also at the Forum in Inglewood, California. Him and Castillo fought all 3 of their fights there at the Forum in Inglewood, California, okay? And Oliveira suffered a knockdown, but won a 15-round decision. In the return fight that October, Castillo became the first man to beat Oliveira, won a 14th round TKO. And the rubber match came in April of 1971, and Oliveira won the fight and the rivalry by a 15-round unanimous decision. Oliveira wins the rivalry 2-1, 2 fights to 1. Oliveira then ran into a countryman of his he could not beat in Rafael Herrera, who stopped him in the 8th round in March of 1972. Herrera taking the bantamweight crown from Oliveira. The two met again in a non-title fight, and Herrera won a majority decision. Then Oliveira made the move up to featherweight, where he stopped Bobby Chacon after 9 rounds. And this was yet another rivalry. He fought Chacon 3 times, okay? And Oliveira won the first 2. Chacon won the final fight. Then, in July of 1974, Oliveira stopped Zensuke Udagawa to win the vacant WBA title at 126 pounds, featherweight. In November of that same year, two legends collided as Oliveira met the explosive thin man, Alexis Arguello. Oliveira was winning the fight until a supremely conditioned Arguello overwhelmed him late, getting the 13th round TKO win. Then came the return fight with Bobby Chacon, with Oliveira scoring a surprise 2nd round knockout win to take the WBC featherweight title. Oliveira is now aged 28 and holding an 80 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw record, was champion for a 4th time. Oliveira was still a great fighter, but he was not quite the same force he had been, and he lost the WBC title in his first defense to David Cote, 15-round split decision, and it was then stopped in 7 rounds by Danny Little Red Lopez. Some fine wins followed over Fernando Cabanella, and in 1978, Jose Luis Ramirez, but Oliveira also suffered stoppage losses to Jose Cervantes and Bobby Chacon. Then, in July of 1979, Oliveira had his final world title fight, where he was stopped in 12 rounds by Eusebio Pedraza in a WBA featherweight title challenge. Finally, in March of 1988, having made a comeback in 1986, Oliveira walked away. He was 41 years old, and his final record read an amazing 89 wins, 13 losses, 3 draws, 79 knockouts, okay? That's 95 fights, and that is a serious knockout ratio, okay? 95 fights. That is a great knockout ratio, though. We gotta know. So 89 wins, 79 knockouts, 88.7% for Oliveira. All right, that is a great knockout ratio. Okay. So Oliveira is without doubt one of the greatest fighters who ever lived. In 1999, Oliveira was voted by the Associated Press as the greatest bantamweight ever. Okay. So that was the Mexican great Mexican fighter, RIVALRIES. So now let's look at a Filipino fighter. We had the legendary Filipino icon, Manny Pacquiao, versus the legendary Mexican icon, Juan Marquez Series today. Let's look at another great Filipino fighter. It's going to be Herbito Salaverria. Okay? Herbito Salaverria. We're going to get some link time today, too. So stick around, folks. About 3:30. Let's get Herbito Salaverria in. Well, they're going to do two apiece. Two Puerto Rican, two Mexican fighters and two Filipino fighters. Let's talk about Herbito Salaverria. Let me hit this light over here. I want a little glare on my equipment, man. Okay. I took this shortcut. Right across the bed. I didn't even know about that shortcut. Okay. Yeah, Herbito Salaverria. Great Filipino fighter. There's Herbito right there, as a matter of fact. There's Herbito. Come on, Herbito. Don't play with me. There he is. Herbito Salaverria. We're going to take a look at him now. Great Filipino fighter. I think we're going to take a look at him. Not. I got another one. Oh, there we go. There's Herbito. Right there. Okay. All right. Herbito Salaverria. Now, Salaverria turned professional in 1963 and won 17 of his first 20 fights. In 1966, he lost a decision to Rick Magano for the Philippine flyweight title. Salaverria and Magano would split a 4-fight series with the Philippine crown on the line each time. In 1967, Herbito made his first journey away from the Philippines and lost to Takayoshi Nakamura in Tokyo, Japan for the Orient Pacific flyweight title. In 1969, Salaverria would stop Nakamura in a rematch to win that crown. In 1970, Salaverria won an upset 10-round non-title decision over reigning WBA flyweight title holder Berkwerk Chartbankai, or something like that. The victory earned Herbito a title shot against WBC flyweight champion Charcha Klono. Salaverria, some butchering going on. Salaverria shocked the boxing world as he flattened the great Konoe in the second round. In 1971, Salaverria defended against Susumi Hanagata, 15-round decision, and Venezuela's Batulio Gonzalez, 15-round decision. He also lost a non-title fight to Lorenzo Halimi Gutierrez. In 1973, he lost his title to the fabulous Thai southpaw, Venice Borkasor. Salaverria stayed in contention, winning 4 or 5 fights, losing only 2 to Panama's Alfonso Lopez. In 1975, Salaverria won the WBO version of the flyweight title with a decision over old rival Hanagata. He then defeated Hanagata in a title defense. In 1976, Herbito again met Panama's Lopez, who stripped Salaverria of the title by a 15th round stoppage. Herbito would have one more contest before being halted by former light flyweight king Netmore Sor Vorasing. Salaverria ended his career with 54 fights, 40 of which he won. He lost 11 and had 3 draws. He was a major player in the flyweight division throughout the 1970s. Herbito Salaverria. Okay, let's go back to another great Mexican fighter. I mean, this one is I'm always bragging on this one. I mean, the great, fabulous, outstanding, excellent, legendary. Yeah. Who is it? Just joking. Carlos Zarate. 52-0, 51 knockouts. 25-0 knockouts out the gate. Won a unanimous decision. The next 26 was knockouts. 52-0, 25 knockouts. The great, legendary Carlos Zarate. I got Ida Jaffa, the greatest bantamweight ever, but Carlos Zarate is definitely number 2. And there is Carlos, right there. Carlos is definitely number 2. Nonito is number 1 when you're talking bantamweight. Ida Jaffa. Ida Jaffa. From I forgot where Ida was from. Somewhere. Ida Jaffa is from, is it Argentina? Somewhere down there. Let's find out real quick. I gotta know everything, man. Right then. Because you can find out fast as you can type. Anybody know? Boxing Arnie? Okay, here we go. Brazil, right. Okay, let's talk about Carlos Zarate. See how fast that was? Google. Back in the old days, I might would have had 2 weeks, wait 2 weeks to find out where he was from. But that wasn't even 2 minutes. But let's talk about Carlos Zarate. Oh, man. There we go. I had it up, then I went looking for where Ida was from. But here we go. Carlos Zarate, the great Mexican bantamweight. Second greatest bantamweight of all time, to me. I ain't mad at you if you got it number 1, but I got Ida Jaffa number 1. Now, boxing greats. What current or former boxer packed the most punch in the smallest body? That's a good question. What current or former boxer packed the most punch in the smallest body? Glad y'all asked. What's up, Gulliver Marcelo? Good to see you today. Like and subscribe, please. We've been talking about the 4-fight series between Manny Pacquiao and Manuel Marquez. We finished it, so we're talking about some other great Mexican and Filipino fighters. 2 apiece. We back. This is the second Mexican fighter, Carlos Zarate. We're going to get some link time at about 3:30, 3:35. But salute, Gulliver Marcelo. Appreciate you stopping by today, my friend. Okay. Yeah. What current or former boxer packed the most punch in the smallest body? Glad y'all asked. Bantamweight Carlos Zarate was a tiny tower of power. There have been some little men with mighty, mighty power, and one of them is the incomparable Carlos Zarate. The amazing Hall of Famer Carlos Zarate had truly incredible knockout power at bantamweight. Jesus Carlos Zarate Serna was born May 23rd, 1951 in Mexico City. He grew up in the tough neighborhood of Tepito in Mexico City, and Zarate had been arrested more than once by beating up grown men in street fight. His brother's intervention saw Carlos find a way to a boxing gym instead of street fighting. Zarate is another poor kid who found boxing as a way up and out. Now, Zarate had an amateur record of 33 wins and 3 losses, and his power was evident even then, with a simply amazing 30 knockouts in 33 wins. Now, that's unheard of in the amateur because you only got 3 rounds, right? And, not too many people had that kind of knockout ratio in the amateur ranks. Not many. Because you got 3 rounds, maybe you're concentrating on getting them points and, getting the decision. But Carlos got him out of there at a 91% clip in the amateurs. 91% knockout rate in the amateurs. Amazing. Technique. What's up? Salute, Technique. How are you today? Yeah, Pacquiao is great technique. Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, we looked at him in the Marquez tetralogy today, that 4-fight series. Manny won it 2 fights to 1 with 1 draw. A lot of Marquez fans would beg to differ. So now we're talking about some other great Filipino and Mexican fighters. Carlos Zarate. He had 33 wins in the amateurs, 30 of them by knockout. That's unheard of in the amateurs, man. Wow. Now, in 1969, Zarate won the Mexican Golden Gloves Championship. In 1970, he turned pro. In 1976, he won the WBC bantamweight title, which he held for 3 years and successfully defended it 9 times. Though he never technically was undisputed champion, WBC champion Zarate thoroughly whipped WBA champion and fellow Mexican, Alfonso Zamora by a 4th-round stoppage in a non-title fight to earn universal recognition as the world's greatest bantamweight. Yeah, WBA, WBC was undisputed back then, and he was WBC champion, and he beat the WBA champion in a non-title fight. So to me, that makes him undisputed. But the WBA title wasn't on the line then, right? But he did beat the WBA champion. Not officially undisputed, but unofficially, that made him undisputed to me. Now, Zarate was undefeated for 9 years and 52 fights before he stepped up in weight to fight legendary slugger Wilfredo Gomez. Now, though he was down 3 times in the fight, Zarate probably lost the fight on the scales. He could not make weight without 3 trips to the sauna and 3 tries. He was coming up in weight. Wow. So he probably should have went up, you know? Yeah, I'm doing fine technique. Thanks for asking. How was your weekend, my friend? Hope you had a great one. Okay, yeah, Zarate, he had to try to make weight 3 times. In the 17 fights after that, he won 14 and lost 3. To that point, he was undefeated. Now, Zarate ended his career in 14 world title fights. He went 10-4, and all 10 wins was by knockout. He faced some superb competition, including Rodolfo Martinez, Alfonso Zamora, Alberto Davila, Wilfredo Gomez, Lupe Pintor, Jeff Fennick, Daniel Zaragoza, Paul Ferrari, Danilo Batista, Alberto Davila. Now that's a resume right there. That's every big fighter in the bantamweight division in the 70s and early 80s right there. Wow. Now Zarate competed from 1970 to 1988 and held the WBC bantamweight title from 1976 to 1979. And entered the top 10 5 years into his career in 1975. For 5 straight years, Zarate was number 1 and number 2 in the world. Now, he was naturally a very, very strong man. He learned his fundamentals well and had a high ring IQ and considerable craftiness. He had a jab like a battering ram. He was quick and not merely of hand, but of foot also, and a master of timing and distance. His style was built on the foundations of his jab, a carefully placed body punching, and a very efficient combinations. He was a vicious counterpuncher when necessary. Not only was Zarate naturally powerful and technically proficient, he also had a very good chin and a very good defense. He was only stopped twice in his career, okay? He is mostly remembered for his incredible power. The first 9 years of his career, I told you, this is what I'm always bragging about. He was 52-0 with a 51% knockout ratio or 98% knockout percentage. He had 2 over 20 knockout streaks, 125, 126. 125 knockout streak, 126 knockout streak in his career. Okay. In total, He knocked out 63 of his 70 opponents. Had a 90% knockout rate for his career. Okay? And he won 95.45% of his victories by knockout. He hit hard enough to stop 36 of his opponents by 10 count on the floor knockout, not TKO. 36 on the floor. That's 57% of his knockouts were 10 count on the floor knockouts. He and fellow Mexican and fellow world bantamweight champion Ruben Olivares are the only two pro boxers in history to put together 2 streaks of 20 or more knockout wins in a row. Only 2 fighters have done that. Him and Ruben Olivares, 2 streaks of 20 or more knockouts in their career. 2 of them. Now, plenty of them, some have done 1, but he did 2 of them. He is ranked number 5 bantamweight of all time by the National Boxing Research Organization. Cash Sports got him number 2 behind Ida Joffrey. He was enshrined in the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1994. And now, the Houston Boxing Hall of Fame has him as the greatest bantamweight of all time. And that's significant because the Houston Boxing Hall of Fame is composed of entirely current and former fighters. Okay? That's the only Hall of Fame of all fighters, current and former. And they got Carlos Zarate number 1 at bantamweight. That's significant there. After boxing, he returned home to Mexico City, where he lives now. Over half, 36 of 70 of Zarate's opponents ended up counted out while on the canvas. That says it all. I had one more Filipino fighter. Was who was it? It was a good one too. Yeah. It was Severino Garcia. I'm gonna put the link in, but we gotta get out of here at 4. I got the very important appointment at 4 at the supermarket. Okay, so I'm gonna put the link in, and then we can talk about Severino Garcia if nobody wants to hit it. Okay, but let's put the link in. We haven't had no link time in a minute. Okay, but how's everybody? It's Monday. I get ready to say it's Friday. Damn. It will be in like 5 minutes. The way these weeks going by. Hope everybody enjoyed that Pacquiao-Manuel series. Those were 4 great fights. They were evenly matched. Well, that's the most evenly matched. Might be the most evenly matched series, trilogy, or whatever series in history. Those 2, man. Yeah. But they fought 4 times. You know? Didn't get a winner out of it. Okay. That's why they had to have 4 of them. Yeah. Had to have 4. Be with me for a moment, please. I'll put the link in a minute. Yeah, okay. And then we still had another Filipino fighter to talk about too, Severino Garcia. Okay. There's Severino right there. This thing is so loud when I'm rolling. My other one wasn't like that, but I poured water in it. Okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about Severino Garcia. Now, in vain, it's 4 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, Seferino, another great Filipino fighter, to take us out of here. Okay. Hope that wasn't too much. I had to move that laptop back. Oh, come on. See if we can get Seferino up here. Garcia. We had 2 Filipino fighters and 2 Mexican fighters that we talked about. 3 really, because we had Manny and Manuel too. But we are right at the beginning of a big week of boxing history. Any new people out there listening or anything, please like and subscribe. Please. And I appreciate it. Be with me for a minute. I'm trying to get Seferino Garcia up here. He's going to be our final fighter. He's from the same place Manny was from down in the Philippines too. Yep. Yep, he sure was. Okay, here we go. I think we get ready to get Seferino Garcia. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Let's talk about Seferino. That will take us on out. Okay. Seferino Garcia, Manny's predecessor. Okay. Now, Seferino is already forgotten and unknown to new generations of fans. You know, Pancho Villa was the first Filipino fighter to win a world championship. Seferino was the second Filipino to ever win a world championship. Okay. And he was the only middleweight world champion from the Philippines. Okay. And he was from the same place Manny Pacquiao was from. Okay. And Garcia adds to his many boxing merits that of being the Tagalog fighter with the highest number of fights and victories, 164 fights and 120 wins, respectively, in a 22-year career. He had 76 knockouts and 14 draws and 33 defeats. Okay. In the 1998 edition of the boxing record book registers, he had 144 wins with 30 losses and 15 draws and 70 by knockout. The record keeping was kind of sketchy when he fought back in the 1930s, 20s. Now, he was born on August 26, 1906. Died on January 1st, 1981 in San Diego, California. Now, he made his pro debut on May 5th, 1923 at age 17 at the Olympic Stadium in Manila in the Philippines. And this fight was against Pedro Del Mundo. And it ended in a 6-round draw. Okay? His debut fight ended in a 6-round draw. Seferino Garcia. And they say Seferino was the creator of the bolo punch. Okay? The creator of the bolo punch, Seferino Garcia. Mm-hmm. In the athletic biography, it stands out singularly a singularity as having been the creator of the bolo punch. It was a very popular punch in the mid 20th century. Okay. In fact, he was called the creator of it in controversial fashion. In boxing in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, it was disused years later and already completely disallowed and disappeared from the ring. But it did come back. Sugar Ray Leonard used to use it, remember? There was a punch thrown from behind in an upper trajectory hook with a fast rotation in circles of the arm and fist. In truth, more spectacular than effective, okay? More spectacular than effective. Now, after Garcia popularized the punch in the 50s, the legendary Cuban Gerardo Gonzalez, or Kid Gavilan, also frequently used it. Also, Sugar Ray Robinson in the 40s and 50s. And more recently, Sugar Ray Leonard used the bolo punch. 80s, 90s, and Roy Jones used it most recently in the 90s, 2000s. Yeah. Now, a lot of people say the real creator was a little known boxer named Macario Flores, who was also a Filipino. Yeah, but he was little known, so Severino Garcia had the bigger name, so he got credit for it, right? Yeah. But it was Severino Garcia who put the punch on the mat, right? Because, the bigger name fighter and everything, he was more visible. Well, he had already acquired a well-earned reputation as a local figure for his many victories. Severino made the decision to conquer America. And on January 29th, 1932, he made his debut at the famous Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles, California, which he did with a record of 25 wins, 5 losses, and 6 draws. And in that debut, he knocked out Alfredo Gaona in the 4th round. He made his debut in the Philippines at a place called the Olympic. And then he made his debut in the United States at arena under the same name, Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles. Made his debut fight to his career at the Olympic in Manila, Philippines. Made his debut in the United States at the Olympic in Los Angeles, California. 4-round knockout, his first fight against Alfredo Gaona. Severino Garcia. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna. Oh, damn! What? I hit my own link. How can I hit my own link? I'm in the back. Wow. I sure did. Oh, come on, man. I'm trying to take it out. I got to go. It's too late now. Feel with it for a minute. Okay. Yeah, Severino Garcia, we talked about him, then we're going to get up out of here. But I appreciate everybody for coming through. Hope you enjoyed the show. 4-fight Monday. We have trilogies. We have 4-fight series. I believe next Monday going to be a modern one, either Canelo and Triple G, or Canelo and Triple G, or Wilder and Fury. One of those 2 trilogies next Monday. Okay, that's going to be who we're going to be looking at. Yeah. One of those 2. But we got a whole week ahead of us of boxing history. I don't know what's going on, man. Gee, Christmas. Oh my God. I was trying to get that link out of there before somebody hit. It won't let me remove it. It keeps putting me in the back. I don't want to go in the back. Okay, Severino Garcia, let's finish this up. Yeah. Made his United States debut at the Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles in 1932. Okay. They got his first big opportunity against Johnny Bandit Romero for the California welterweight title in February 1933. And he won by 8th round knockout. He had that title and made 7 defenses of it, right? And he won 6 of them. Finally lost it. No, he made 6 successful defenses and had 1 draw, right? And it ended in April 1934 when young Peter Jackson bludgeoned him in 3 rounds in Los Angeles. Young Peter Jackson was still fighting in 34. Wow. However, in September that same year, he knocked out Flash Butler in 2 rounds in Bakersfield, California, to regain the state title. He then disposed of baby Joe Gans. And due to his problems in making 147 pounds, he lost his belt on points to Al Manfredo in January of 1936. Yeah, that wasn't the Joe Gans because Joe Gans had died in 1935. He wasn't still fighting in 1934. He was very sick by then. And he won the 160-pound title. Only Filipino fighter to ever win the 160-pound crown. Okay? The New York Athletic Commission title. And the International Boxing Union, IBU, on October 2nd, 1939. Right? He knocked out, who did he knock out? Fred Apostoli in 7 rounds. Yeah. That's who that was. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Hell, I can't get. I'm trying to bring you up here. Let me see what's going on here. I don't know what's going on, man. There we go. And let me bring you up for a minute. Okay, what's up, T Hill? Oh, I still didn't do it. There we go.
What's good with you, cuz?
Oh, not too much. Just another day. That's all.
Oh shoot, let me turn this volume down so it won't mess up your stream.
That's all. Just talking about Manny and Juan Manuel today. That's all. The great series they had, in the ring. What's up with you?
Well, Juan Manuel is one of my favorite fighters.
Yeah.
I loved me some Juan Manuel. Thought that in those 4 fights, he definitely won 3 of them. I thought the other one that he didn't win, it was a draw. That's how I really felt. I thought that, they gave him. Now, the one that he won by knockout, he was actually losing that fight. That fight.
Yeah, Manny was dominating.
Dominating that fight. Manny was dominating. So, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't understand why people are so. Let me say, how should I say, are so apprehended by their fanism or their fanerisms. I should say fanerisms. It's not mannerisms, it's fanerisms.
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? I loved me some. I did like Pacquiao too. I just like Marquez more. But I thought he won the previous 2 fights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I thought that, you know, the other one was a draw. But in that fight that he had won where he got the knockout, he was losing that fight. He was losing every round. No, I take that back. I think he might have won one or two. I forgot which one.
The
Fourth? It was
no,
the fourth?
third. He knocked Manny down in the third. He might have won he probably won the third round. Yeah. But
yeah, okay. But other than that, he was losing the fight miserably.
Because remember, Manny knocked him down in the fifth, the round before the end. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, put him down.
Yeah.
Manny
it was looking like he was going to cruise to victory. And I like I said, I love me some Pacquiao too. But I was a more Marquez fighter. I love Marquez, man. Matter of fact, see what people hate on is saying the slow, flat-footed Mexican fighting style.
Yeah, no.
I don't see that a lot, bro. I only see that with certain fighters, and I believe that there are a lot of fighters that are in different other demographics that also exhibit that same style. So I'm not going to hold that to them. I've seen great fights between Mexican fighters, and I mean the list goes on and on. You got so many. You got Morales fighting up in there. He had some beautiful shots. I mean, beautiful fights. You had Barrera.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You had Marquez, Vasquez.
Yeah, that's a myth.
It's just so many fights, man, that, you know, these people go in there and they get that fight on. So, you know, I don't ascribe to that, but I also don't ascribe to fanning out for somebody so much that you can't see what's going on in the ring. I'll never do that. And that's why when people ask me if I really believe that, yeah, I believe that. I believe what I see in the ring, and I know what I see in the ring. So in that fight, that was a great fight for Manny Pacquiao. He was controlling the whole fight. Yeah, and then one punch changed everything.
Yeah.
Short-circuited.
He ran right into it. You know,
and if he didn't land that punch, it probably was going to be a long night for him because he just couldn't get around him that day. Mm-mm. Now, the other fights, I thought he did the better of the action. I thought he definitely won more of the rounds, and I thought that he did better work late. You know what I'm saying? But they just gave it to Manny. I couldn't understand it, but I do know. I was a kid then. Now I know it's about where the money is.
I thought he won the first one when he got knocked down 3 times in the first round. I thought he came back and won that one.
He came back and won damn near almost. I'd say, damn near. I think I gave Pacquiao 2 more rounds in that fight, I believe.
That's it.
But you know, Pacquiao was the movement, and honestly, what they saw him possibly challenging and taking down Mayweather. Yep. So they were going to push that.
Yeah. And
they were going to push that.
They could give it to him. He was getting it, you know. He was getting the decision.
For sure. And
messed that money up.
But while we here, man, shout out to both fighters. They are 2 tremendous fighters.
Yes, they were.
Gave us a lot of great fights, a lot of good action. And I appreciate both of them. I really do, man, because
in the Hall of Fame, you know.
Yeah.
I think Manny just win it, didn't he? I think. Well,
I don't know, because, you know, did they put him in because he's still active?
That's right. So they may not have.
They might not put him in because he's active. You got to be retired for a certain amount of time before they can put you in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but he is going, and he's going to be first ballot.
Yeah.
You know, when he's nominated,
he already fought Floyd when he fought Manny too. Remember, he had fought Floyd already. Oh, it might have been in between one of the first and second or something. But I know he fought Floyd.
Yeah, it was in between the last one. It was between the last one, I think, the third and the fourth one.
Years in between those 2 fights.
Yeah,
like 8 years or something like that.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying, and that's what if I could sit down and I could talk to some of these fighters today, I would show them that. I would show them the time frame, but I would show them how losing a fight doesn't take away from people wanting to see you fight. and that, you know, when you're in the ring, there only can be one winner.
That's what
Sometimes there's a draw. Well, I take that back because, you know, given the fact that they got, and that's one thing that I would do to change the sport. I would give a 13th round.
Oh, you would go 13? Yeah,
I would go 13. It has to be odd. I don't want no. Yeah.
That's why they had 15 to begin with. Remember when it first started?
Exactly. 15 was so that there would be no dispute who the champion was.
Yeah. But the loss defines you. Anybody know how to win, but how do you lose? That's what defines your character and everything, you know.
Oh yeah, how you pick yourself back up and move forward.
That's right.
So you know, I would show them those fights, man, because those fights, you could see the crowd packed.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're that guy, you're that guy no matter what. Because let's face it, in that fight, Pacquiao was the man. Now everybody recognized who Marquez was, but you know, Pacquiao got the world's recognition. Everybody who liked to watch boxing love to watch him because he's putting on a show. Not too many people understand the show that Marquez puts on.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marquez is a bad boy.
I thought Ryan had a wrench. I don't know what happened to it. I'm gonna give it another one.
Who you thought had a wrench?
Ryan Frazier, Boxing Talk up north.
Oh, definitely. I don't even see him. Oh, there you go right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shout out to the good brother from up yonder. That's Ryan Frazier.
Yeah.
Everybody subscribe, like, comment, and subscribe. Hey, can you put his link into the chat?
Yeah, so Ryan, drop your link in there.
He can't. He doesn't have a wrench. You got to wrench him up.
I'll have it in 1 minute. There you go. He got it now. There you go, Ryan.
If you want to hear some good.
Drop your link in there now, Ryan.
And Irony Boxing got to drop his. BVO, he got to drop his. Just Do got to drop his.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I thought Marquez won all of them. To tell you the truth.
No, I didn't think he won all of them. I thought one of them was a draw. I honestly thought one of them was a draw.
I mean, I don't think he lost any of them.
I don't believe he lost either.
I mean, it was a draw, if anything.
I don't believe. All you people on the playback in the chat right now, if you're listening, man, definitely subscribe to Ryan Frazier, Boxing Talk up north. Tremendous talent. Always give.
One was a draw.
Third one. That was the one for me. That was a draw.
Yeah, that was real close. Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, it was all good fights. Every single one of them was good fights. And the fight that actually was the least competitive was the one where he got the knockout.
The last one, yeah.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for that knockout, I think he was about to.
Yeah.
Either he was going to get knocked out or he was going to lose by unanimous decision.
Yeah, Manny was winning that one going away. You know, that fourth, the last one, yeah. He ran right into that right hand. He was jumping in, you know, being real aggressive. And like I said, he did all the work. Marquez just caught and came over the top and blew up. I had the picture. It was a brutal. He was on the mat for a minute. Oh shoot! Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, that ain't it. He was down there for a minute too.
So while you trying to find it, man, you also got a time to find that super chat that my man Ryan Frazier gave to you right now.
Oh, okay. Oh, appreciate you, Ryan. 1000%. Salute to Ryan Frazier. I think that's it right there. No, that ain't it. It was a serious punch.
Nah, it wasn't that punch. It was with him back with his back face to the wall.
Oh, here it is. That's it. Ain't that it right there? Because Manny went down face first, remember?
Yeah, straight to the ropes.
Yeah.
Short circuited.
Ryan Frazier for the super chat.
So yeah, you know, we need like for these fights to be recycled for these people that's coming up in the game today, so they can see that, you know, fighters have always taken the ring and always pitted their skill against top competition. Now I know that it's different because now there is more people at play, whereas before there wasn't as many people putting on these fights. So, you know, they didn't stand this. They didn't have to share as much of the revenue as possible. Because let's face it, that's what it all goes down to. Shout out my good brother Ant McQueen. We were talking about doing what kind of. We actually was having a conversation, and I was like, "Yo, man, you know how expensive it is to put on a fight?" And he was like, "You know what? We always have this conversation, but let's actually find out." So we chat GPT'd it, and you know, it came out to show a breakdown of what potentially you may pay to put on an event.
I know.
And you know, they spent
it was so much to you. I gave up. You know, it is. You got to.
No, but it can be a series though. You could actually chronicle it and do a series.
By bit, in certain parts, right?
I say you do it, man. I think that it would be something that would be beneficial to people because people honestly believe that fighters are the reason why these fights don't get made, and it's not even that.
No.
It's not even that. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna blow your mind right now, man. The reason why we getting a BS fight coming up is not even because of the fighters.
Which one is that? Which one are you talking about?
You know what BS fight it is. The Jake Paul Tank Davis fight.
I forgot all about that. No,
it's a reason why. And it ain't because of the fighters. It's because of the people behind the fights. Yeah. This is gonna make them money, and this is gonna bring them recognition. It's gonna make a certain promotional company an entity, and this is gonna make a working relationship between an established entity, man. So like all of this is gonna try to tie in hand in hand where they can start getting the fights made. I'm thinking that this was the promise.
I just hope there's no nonsense like that Tyson fight was. That was clearly.
Well, there's a great chance that is the case. I mean, let's face it. Yeah. If it was strictly off of talent and skill, you know, as big as strong as Jake Paul is, he's not as skilled. No. So he wouldn't be able to touch him. And then on top of that, his feet aren't educated enough to create the proper posture for him to throw the punch that he would need, and he can't put his punches together. So it's like, you know, he doesn't stand a chance of winning the fight. Tank, on the other hand, can run him into a punch. Now, will his punch be able to hurt him?
Right.
That remains to be seen.
That's right there, T-Hill. Yeah.
You talking about somebody that's usually 130 fighting somebody that's almost 100 pounds bigger than him.
Yeah. You know, Jake gonna be over 200 by the time.
Yeah, he's gonna be about 220 something. 220 something.
You even have him a weigh-in.
Yep.
There's no weight division, you know.
They don't need one. They're just trying to make money on this thing. So they're trying to bring visibility to a product and also to a person that is like the biggest product. So
I think Tank gonna come back and make some of these real fights too. A lot of people.
I believe so too. I believe that's why he's been feeling. That's why he's been looking this way. It looked like he hasn't been interested. I believe that this has been on the loom for a minute now. Yeah. This fight has been on the loom for a minute now. And I think he was against it because he didn't want to do it. But he said, I got a promise that I made to Al, and I gotta honor it.
Yeah.
That is the promise. This is the promise.
Yeah. Yep.
And it ties in well with everything, because after this, we found out because the Loma fight didn't get made, they went a different direction. It also messed up the time frame. And that's why we got the Lamont Roach fight, because, well, there was offers extended to other folks that were a little bit more viable at the time, but they didn't want to take the offer. So no need to broach up a contract, because you're not even accepting what we're proposing. So they went to somebody that was able and willing, and I don't think he was really in it because, like I said, he had this thing where he publicly said, Jake Paul's a clown, get him up out of boxing, this, and this, and now he got to fight him. So, you know, I think that this is something that, you know, Al asked him to do as a favor to him.
And make all that money.
And I think that Al was trying to branch with them so that they could see how they can market themselves and distribute their product in these days and age. So I think it's that. I don't think people, because of the way that they feel about Al Heyman and the PBC, and especially about his biggest representation, which is Tank Davis, they don't want to look at it from that angle. They just want to say, oh, he's a duck. He's not fighting nobody. He's not trying to be great. This, and that. Well, as he's always said, even from when he was called Rambo, he wasn't in it to be great. He was in it to provide for his people and give himself a way out.
Who he came up under. Look who he gave him the blueprint. Floyd.
Yeah, but you know, Floyd also, man, Floyd is a different specimen. He was somebody who fought people, but actually got rewarded for the people he fought later on down the line. Mm-hmm. And I think that Tank himself has to, at least for himself, I don't think it's for anybody else, for himself, mark off a couple of those names that, you know, people say he been running from. And that's why we get that fight. I think that we do get the fight. I think we get the Shakur fight. I know we get the rematch fight. I think they rematch. Yeah, and I'm hoping that we get the Devin Haney fight. Those are the fights that I really care most about. Secondary would be. You said what? Yeah. Well, if you're gonna fight him.
Oh, but if you're gonna fight Jake Paul, you can fight, right? You can fight.
If you're gonna fight him, bro, like no matter what, this nigga's gonna try to make you look bad. Yeah. He's gonna try to make him look bad. He's gonna try to hit his ass real hard to see if he can actually. You know what he'll say? Yo, it'll be a little dude, but it's like, nigga, he's a boxer. I'm a YouTube streamer.
Yeah,
I'm knocked out a boxer, bro. A real, genuine champion. Yeah. This is his first true champion that he's fought.
Yep.
No matter how small he is, he's still a champion. What up with you, Define Iron? Me, my bad, man. I've been talking. I didn't even look at the screen.
Nah, I just pulled up like a minute ago. How you fine gentlemen doing today?
All right, how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm just in a small break here at work. I was just stopping by to say hi and stuff like that.
Shoot, since you on the small break, go on and chop it up, man. We gonna make the most of your time.
Yeah, we're gonna go till like 4:30. 20 more minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I just want to tell T Hill that I appreciate him, bro. We had a great conversation on Saturday.
And the playback.
Yeah,
you watched the playback?
Yeah.
Hey, Kaz, man, you heard me tell him that if you watched the playback, then I told him you heard me tell him that he was official. I said he's one of the only few people that got Kaz Sports up on the panel. That wasn't his.
True.
For the longest, we was trying to get him to get on the old timers panel, and he would never get on that bad boy.
We just changed platform.
Yeah, that's the one that Jay Hardcore does, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he does it anymore, but he used to do it every Sunday night.
Okay.
But Jay Hardcore about to put out some hangout wear, some pajama wear for well, not just pajama wear, but lounge wear. He gonna call it lounge wear.
Being boxers is telling me something about Jay wasn't coming on for the rest of the year. What's that about?
Because he's trying to launch. He's close to launching his loungewear, man. He got with somebody, and he got that's why he started wearing pajamas like loungewear and the thing. I was wondering why he was doing it. First, I know he had gone through some tough times with losing some loved ones and things like that, but it was because he was about to brand his loungewear. So that's what it's called hangout wear, hangout loungewear.
You coming on tonight?
Say that again?
You coming on tonight?
Yes. I'm pretty sure I will.
Tonight?
Actually, I'm gonna cover some must-see fights, but I'm beginning to get acquainted with the sharing screen. I share screen about some funny stuff with Coach Malachi. You remember that, T Hill, when he did the tank and said or stuff? You saw that, Kaz? And I'm gonna start showing fights and breaking down fights and doing more with that, for sure.
You mean
So I'm not only
like
gonna,
from now?
yeah, like for example, I got a group of must-see fights. For example, one of them is the Kovalev yard fight, right? That's one of them,
Yard.
and I'm gonna,
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
remember
and
that one. Yeah.
oh,
So
that's pretty good.
one thing that I'm going to encourage you to do is make sure that you go for the fair use copyright screen. Get that image downloaded so that you can play it before you play anything. And then have a
Okay,
ticker. You see how he says Cash App, like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Have that banner push
okay,
out the disclaimer on the bottom so that you know you give all credit to the original source, and that this is just strictly for educational purposes and things like that, because they will strike you if you don't
yeah,
cite them.
Yeah.
okay. Fair use
Yeah.
and copyright banner. Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
fair use copyright.
I appreciate that.
And
Okay,
that way it'll have it's a copyright 702 something point something, but it'll explain what it is, and it'll have a picture. You can just share that first before you play, and then as the ticker, have it running on the
okay.
bottom, have the words actually running in there so that you can at all times have yourself protected.
And you found out
Absolutely.
I was looking at your playback. I think it was Sunday morning, and then I looked up and I seen 12,000. I said, "Well, I just drift off the channel." And I said, "The 75 on it, 12,000." I thought I had drift
Bro, I
off
could,
the channel and went somebody else's or something. I was like, "Wow."
bro, I couldn't believe it, bro. I swear to God, I couldn't believe it. I was calling the fight, and all of a sudden I take a look at that, the eye icon that tells you how many people. And I was like, how many, bro? Like,
You saw the Danny Garcia fight, right?
yeah, before that, I got to the UFC main event first.
UFC. Yeah, people like that, man. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
a good for you there. Yeah, you should do that regular or like on the weekends,
Oh yeah, I'm starting to think I should like cover the UFC as well, as far as like the news
Yeah,
and stuff. But that'll
you
come.
was doing that Saturday too, wasn't it? The UFC when you covering that
Yeah,
Saturday. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people like that UFC too. Mm-hmm.
for sure. Fellas, I gotta run, but it's a pleasure as always. God bless
Okay,
you both.
I'll try to
Appreciate
Oh,
catch
you.
for
up with
sure,
you tonight.
man.
What
Enjoy the
time
rest of the
tonight,
shift.
man?
Thank you.
What time tonight?
He's asking you what time you come on
Um,
tonight.
Real quick.
I'll say about, yeah, I'm hoping to be like 9 or something like that. Between 9 and 10, I would say.
Okay, I'll try to catch you then.
Appreciate you, gentlemen. See you all soon.
Okay.
You too.
All right, then.
Yeah. What you think about that? Chris later Ali. She had receipts and everything. Man.
So I think that so this is the thing, man. It's two parts.
Yeah.
A lot of it is stuff that Layla at all has nothing to do with, and it's just with how she was probably treated as a child coming up.
Yeah. Yep.
The way she looked, how she was treated, got talked about, and probably coming up through the ranks as a female boxer, some of the things she had to do to get recognition and notoriety and things like that. I mean, I know if you go back to Ashley's Corner did a biopic about it one time with Key Alexandria, and they chronicled what this one girl gave that used to be in the circuit and almost representing the country, the things that she had to do to get fights and to get representation, and things that they were trying to make her do to get better fights and better representation.
Yeah.
So she came up through there. She was one of the people that was her friends, and she was one of the names that they said certain things that went down, that it was part of the program in order for you to get where you need to go up in there.
Yeah.
That being the case, I think that people don't understand the impact that it has on your psyche when you're young and you're told that you're not attractive, that you're too dark and things like that.
Yeah.
And then how it impacts how we interact with one another, being light and dark. See, my best friend, was much darker than me. But
Right.
I didn't never look at him as somebody that was dark. I just thought of him as my friend. I've never had the problem of really looking at people and looking at their color, race, or anything like that and saying like, you're not cool people or I don't like you. Now, I've learned that through time and through experience, certain people don't like me because I am certain things.
Yeah, some people go by that, you know.
And you know, I have to respect that because I don't know how far they'll show me. They'll go to show me that they don't like me.
That's right.
You know, there are some people that will go as far as to try to take your life.
I know.
Just because they don't like you or who you are or what you are. So you got to be cognizant of that and you got to be aware. So I am aware of that, but I do not share in that. Now, I don't like people that don't like me, so I won't be around them.
That's all you do. Yeah.
But unfortunately, within our own people, Cass, within our own people,
you're right, 100%.
We have a big problem with light versus dark.
I know.
And unfortunately, she has been talked about so to the point that she don't like light complexion people. That's why she has a problem with Alicia Baumgartner. That's why she has a huge problem with Layla Ali. Now, Layla Ali is a person who endorsed this young lady.
I know. She showed the receipt.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to get into that because that was brilliant what she did.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. She allowed her words and the time of her words to tell the true story about what's going on.
Yeah.
All throughout this time, she has pushed her, big upped her, supported her. She has had her phone number. She's had conversations with her. If you felt in any way that you thought that something she was doing was not along the lines of bigging you up, why didn't you go talk to her?
Yeah.
Why?
Check this out. Layla Ali held this all these years. She could have been exposed, that girl, but she was still had her back and kept all this in.
Absolutely.
She could have been exposed this. But she
absolutely, because out of respect for her, because she's in the moment of now. Why would I do something to fracture her movement now?
Yeah.
That would look like, you know, that would not be a good look. And on top of that, it's not what people who are confident. Okay, so I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna guise everything what I'm gonna say by giving a like scenario. I've seen a woman, bad, sophisticated, beautiful, got everything going for her, very attractive, get hit on by a man.
Yeah.
A man who she felt wasn't really on her level and was really something that she would really feel like giving her energy or her time to.
Yeah.
And she turned him down. But the way she turned him down, built him up, let him know that, yo, you are someone special.
Right.
And one day you're going to be someone special for somebody else. And that you need to work on some things that was going to build that for you. And this is a moment for you to do it. The dude left better than he and it was all from him being turned down. But she lifted him up by turning him down. And this thing and how she corrected her, she actually gave her a lift. Like, you can use this to better yourself. Because right now, the way that you're moving is not how you don't want to justify or, you know, let this be what people recognize of you.
You're not going to get to being this way.
Yeah. You can't worry about what people do. Just worry about what you can control.
That's
and,
right.
you know, she has had a big problem with that because she wants everything to be about her. And I'm going to tell you why, because that same person that got picked on a long time ago was told this. And that's why she got a problem with Layla. Layla is privileged. She had to struggle. Layla is light skinned. She's dark. Layla is attractive. She doesn't feel as attractive as she is. And that's why she said that. And even though she said,
she got to wear fake hair. All that, man.
Don't need to wear much makeup. She got to put on tons of makeup. So, you know what I'm saying? You know, that the makeup in itself just lets you know
all of that.
Where you saying you bad because, you know, I'm popping. I'm winning at boxing. I'm getting money. I look good.
You know what I noticed about Clarissa, though, one thing a long time ago? Now, she's a celebrity, but she got to respond to Everything somebody says about her, she can't let nothing go. You're a celebrity. You gotta let some things go, but she gotta respond to everything, man.
The reason why you're a celebrity is because people view you, listen to you, you entertain them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna always have varying opinions, and a lot of people don't always feel the same thing. You might like chocolate ice cream. I don't like chocolate ice cream. Does it mean chocolate ice cream is not good? No, it's just not something that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
But chocolate ice cream is one of the biggest. You say what?
And that's everybody's not gonna like you.
Exactly. So she might not be for everybody's liking.
Yeah.
She might not be what everybody wants to get behind. There might be some people that's envious of her.
That's right.
But if you're a celebrity and you're doing your thing, why would it matter what anybody else thinks? But like I said, it goes back to her upbringing and being teased and put down and all these other things.
Yeah.
And only being good for certain things to certain folks. And you know, the cool thing is when you start to see something good in your corner, you don't recognize it because it usually don't come. And her being good to her and supporting her, she didn't recognize what it truly was because she's used to not having that.
That's right. Yeah.
So she can easily try to branch it off as something else. Nah, she wasn't really being. And then she started doing this. And like she said, she had the receipts in chronological order and her own words.
Mm.
And like you said, she
for herself in Clarissa's own words. You're right.
And the only time she ever said something in direct conflict to her is when she was showed a video of her saying she know not to fight me and this and this and that, and I will beat her, I'll knock her out and all this stuff. So she was replying after being shown the video.
Right.
And now whether she saw it initially and knew it was there or she saw it there at that first moment, this is a reply that is being formulated after seeing her have these things to say to her after all she's done was help her and push her. Mm-hmm. And still she didn't even say anything disrespectful. She just said, hey, look, you're supposed to say that you're going to beat somebody. You're supposed to say you're confident.
That's right.
You know, I said I wouldn't come back. When I said I wouldn't come back, you weren't even at a weight that I was fighting at. You were fresh off of fighting somebody and getting knocked down. You were not on my level at that point in time when I left the game, nor was I even thinking of you as a threat because I thought somebody I was endorsing as like a big sister. Why would I want to pit myself against you? But if we were to be in the ring, since you said that, no, you couldn't beat me. You couldn't knock me out, but I could knock you out because I see why. And I see why you can't knock people out. Because it's about certain things. And people now frame this as like she didn't have skills. She didn't have a look. What people got to realize is the film quality also plays a factor in things too. Mm-hmm. There's people that look at the film from way back when and think, oh, they were slow. No, it's just the film. Right. The way the frames per second or frames per minute, whatever it is, it isn't the same as it is now. So it doesn't translate the same by viewing.
Now, that's right. Exactly. And you know, it's good. She said, Floyd, Muhammad Ali, her. And then she gonna sit up there and say she gotta learn how to knock people out. How can you be the third best ever? You gotta teach yourself how to knock people out. How does that make you the third best ever?
Well, I mean, when she's thinking about it, she's thinking about impact to the sport, but she's conflating impact and accomplishments or accolades. So she believes because I am the most accomplished, that puts me up there with them. See, this is the thing, you know, and Floyd hasn't had the impact on boxing as Muhammad Ali has had, but he is very impactful in the sport to the point where it's changed now. So he has left a great deal of impact, but her impact is not as great even as people that are currently walking around in her time right now. And see, that's why she does what she does, because there are other people being mentioned when it should be. When Floyd was around, there was nobody mentioning anybody bigger than Floyd. Floyd was the dude.
He was the man. People
recognized that. People admitted it and accepted it. They didn't like it. They said he can lose to this person, and they cheered for him to lose. But they didn't question his impact on the sport. Her Well, she got Amanda Serrano. She got Katie Taylor. You know,
all of them. Fran Sean. Shadeja. Well, she fights some of them.
Well, only one she really got to fight that she hasn't fought is Shadeja Green, which I think she will, because she made that comment is about she don't leave nothing on her plate before she get up out of here. She gonna have fought everybody. So that fight, and then everybody else that she would fight after that would be people she had already fought, because there's nobody at those weights that she's fighting now, campaigning at, that are even a challenge. They're not skilled at all.
Especially heavyweight.
Yeah, so, you know, she would have to fight rematches, and it would be Savannah Marshall, it would be Franchon Cruz, it would be Hannah Graves. Those are the only other fights besides Shadeja Green that I would be interested in seeing.
Yeah,
but the thing is, like,
again. Yeah, that would be it for me too. And Shadeja, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, after that, you don't gotta fight no more. You done beat everybody.
I think of nobody, you know.
There is nobody else. Maybe somebody. My man Sheldon Moore told me about somebody named Tams or Toms,
Young or something like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, with her, like, she's fighting something that, you know, was unfortunately part of her upbringing. And it allowed her not to trust people or to see people for who they really are. So that, you know, she was doing all of this to Layla, and then Layla finally responded. And when she responded, she just said, "Hey, yo, you said you wanted to put me in the ring with you. It wouldn't even be a contest. I'm better than you. And on top of that, I'm bigger than you, and I'm more skilled than you." Yeah. Now, a lot of people say that she's not more skilled. They think that she doesn't have skill. And again, that's because of the frames per second and the look of the film. She was a good fighter, man. She was trained by one of the better trainers in the world, and she's coming from stock of Muhammad Ali, dog. She's had a vicious punch. They say she don't have no speed. She definitely had speed. And she could put her punches together well, and she placed her punches.
And they say she was in there with lower level competition. Look what she did to him. She got him out of there. She said, somebody was supposed to be in the ring with me. I got him out of there.
Yeah, and she made that point too, just to define that, if they didn't belong in the ring with me, guess what? They was out of the ring. I got them up out of the ring. Whereas, you know, you've been fighting a lot of people that ain't on your level, but they still around.
Going to decisions and stuff.
Okay, so but that being the case, this is some woman that has been living her life quietly outside of boxing, making more than enough for her way. She's gotten successful through cooking and cookbooks and through other avenues and platforms. She's also
stuff too.
She's been a TV icon as well too. So she has made her way. She has not even been thinking about her, but yet and still, she said she wasn't the GOAT of her time. Well, then why you ain't going at the GOAT of her time?
Right.
Because anything that has been done, and this is what I have with the issue with a lot of people in Tank. Now, I know a lot of people who are fans of other people who don't like Tank, and they like other fighters who are in opposition with Tank. My reply to them is Tank never singles them out. He only responds to what they say or somebody bringing them up. Yep. She only responded to what she said and was brought up. You wouldn't even notice.
She finally got taught and did it, you know?
Yeah, exactly, Crash. Exactly. So she just did it diabolically because she made it look like, okay, so you're saying this is what I did. Let me show you what truly happened. And then
like she didn't want to make her look bad, T-Hill, you know?
No, she did. Now, at the end, where she said she was a disgrace and all that stuff. Now that was not cool. She didn't have to say all that. She didn't have to say all of that. She was showing. She pretty much was showing it with her own words, her own behavior, and in chronological order. She didn't have to say that. That's where she got petty. Now that was petty on her, but that's because I came to build you up and help you out, and instead of thanking me, you know, respecting me enough to call me and let me know you took exception to something. Yeah, you came out there and started taking digs at me, and then you changed your words. You said, "Oh, I don't think she ducked Ann Wolf." Right. Then all of a sudden, now she's ducking. She's always, you know what I'm saying? So
knocked her ass out. She was scared of Ann Wolf. She said that was like 3 weeks after she went on the Breakfast Club and said, I understand boxing. They maybe couldn't make those fights. It said 3 weeks later she was talking to her.
So she must have forgot she had said that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, the truth starts to come out. Like you really envy her. Like she envies the fact that that's Muhammad Ali's daughter. She envies the fact that when people think of women boxing, they think of Muhammad Ali's daughter and Layla Ali.
Oh yeah, and remember T Hill? Clarissa was telling Layla how much her father liked Layla too. I know that had to hurt her there. Remember that part?
Yeah.
So that had to hurt her too. Her own father was like talking about how much he liked Layla. So wow. She had a lot.
Man, I'm gonna put it to you like this. She said that girl has done nothing for that woman, I should say. That woman, because she's only a little younger than I am. She has impacted the sport because of her. You are in the sport, and your father verified it. Your father said that, you know what, she would, if Olympics boxing was around, she would have won the gold medal. She would have done this. She would have done that. So you know, yeah, she know.
Yeah,
she know, and she don't recall saying these things. To say all these other things that conflict that. And like I said, man, you know, she's bitter. Unfortunately, she's looking for validation. And no matter what she do, it's never gonna be enough. Just like some of them people who hate on the PBC or hate on Tank Davis. No matter what they do, it's never gonna be good enough. PBC going broke. They're about to put on a fight.
But that's in Clarissa's mind. If she would just settle down and just live her life and let her accolades come to her, she would get credit. But she's just trying too hard, you know?
Yeah, but like what I'm about to draw the parallel to is how people in their minds have things already made up.
Yeah.
She should be already reserved in her mind that, you know what, no matter what people think, I'm one of them ones in boxing. When people think of boxing, they're going to have to mention my name because I've done so much in boxing. Now, is a difference, and I was just telling this to Marky Dan and B3. I was telling them, like, yo, there's a difference for being accomplished in the sport and being accomplished for the sport. Doing things in the sport, doing the most in the sport, and doing the most for the sport. Right. She has done more in the sport than any woman. Matter of fact, she has done more in the sport than any man. But for the sport, there are women who have done more. And that's where she's mixed.
Canada done more for the sport than her.
I would argue yes, especially Serrano. I definitely would give Serrano more, but Layla Ali has done more for the sport.
Yeah, I was just thinking in her era.
Christine Martin has done more for the sport. Lucia Riker has done more for the sport. Cecilia Brackes has done more for the sport. You know what I'm saying? That
a couple weeks ago, you know, Brackes did.
And so, you know, you have people who have done more for the sport. Now, you have accomplished more inside the sport, but doing more for it. You think you're doing boxing a great service by doing a rap where you're talking about your man ain't this, he got little this and this. And stuff. Yeah, you know, that's building up the sport. You walking around in outfits that are barely covering you, that's doing more for the sport.
But you can't get no endorsement. Don't nobody want her on their product, man, doing stuff like that.
Well, because for one, she has, and this is where, you know, we got to be sensitive. She is a darker complexion sister, and she is a woman. So she's in a sport that is not really made for fighters in general, but then definitely not for black fighters. And then on top of that, a black woman fighter. So she's behind the curve big time. You can't do things to enhance that curve, to make that curve bigger.
Making it worse.
She's doing it, Cash. She's making it worse.
Yeah. Where nobody don't want to touch her. She like poison ivy.
So that's why this was a good time. And like I say, save the last part where she was talking about she's a disgrace for boxing. She's a poor
She came
representative.
down to her level on that.
Yeah, she shouldn't have said that. She should have just let her words define what she really looks like or is to the sport right now. But it would have been just like, look, this is your chance to sit down, take a step back, and really think about what you're doing. You coming at somebody who ain't even been in the ring.
Yeah.
Who's been successful more widely so out of the ring than in the ring. And due to the times when I first fought, they didn't even want to see women on cards. You know, I was very implemental in getting women on TV. I was one of the founding sisters of that. Me and Christy Martin did that. We put the work. Christy Martin was fighting, but was not being televised.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? But because of Layla Ali, she got to see some of her fights get televised.
Yeah.
It led to the point where now the women are being televised on a regular basis. You mean to tell me I ain't done nothing for, huh?
Headline and pay-per-views and stuff now.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Layla Ali. And if you look at the look of Layla Ali, man, she is something that everybody can say is attractive.
Mm-hmm.
She carries herself with such grace.
Yeah.
She speaks with such eloquence. She is the example of what you want success to look like.
Yeah, Clarissa is jealous.
So now if you want to be successful, blaze your own path, carry yourself a certain way, and just get the work done. Because whether they give it to you now, they're gonna have to give it to you later. But she was too busy wanting to be the reason why, the focus why, the focal point.
Yeah.
You can't. And that's the difference between like man, they would ask Kobe Bryant, are you the greatest basketball player of all time? He said, I wouldn't even disrespect other folks by saying that.
Mm-hmm.
All I can do is control what I can control and produce what I can produce and let my body of work speak for me. You got another person that they ask, oh, that right there, that made me the greatest player of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a difference in things right there. Michael Jordan never said he was the greatest.
No.
Wilt Chamberlain never said he was the greatest. He just said he was one of the greats.
Right.
You know, there's so many people who are truly deserving of that title never said that. There's only a few that say it. And, you know, when you're saying it, you're starting to take away from people who have done things before you.
Yeah, now, you got doubts. You know, you're trying to prove that you are.
You're trying to validate yourself.
That's right.
Because you don't feel like you're getting validated.
Yep.
And if nobody stamps her, I'm telling her right now, dog, just you doing what you're doing is stamping your own way. And if nobody recognizes it, they'll recognize it later on. It will get recognized. But you doing what you're doing is not a good look for you.
Taking away from it, yeah.
It's not a good look for you.
You know?
Yeah. And I'm going to say it because, you know, people say, well, because she's dark and she's black. It's not a good look for anyone to go about doing things that way.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely looks worse when it's us because they don't like us anyway.
It's the narrative.
They don't respect us.
Mm-hmm. You know, told you. See how she is. See how they
exactly, Cass. Say it again.
What they expect.
That's what they expect, and they're gonna say, "Told you." See, they not worth nothing.
Look at that video.
Look at them. Yeah, exactly. See, look at them. Look at her. That's what they are. That's what they do. And it's unfortunate because it could be a different person doing it that does not look like her, that is not black. They would not have that problem. But because it's her, they're going to have that problem. And for that, I say that it shouldn't be so, but you know it's so.
Yeah. You got a lot working against you. You don't have to give them more ammunition, you know.
You don't give them more ammunition.
Yeah.
If you in a freaking gunfight and your gun got no bullets, are you going to sit there and throw bullets over there so that they could shoot more times? No.
Yeah, take some of my bullets.
No, here you go. Here you go.
Right. Right.
No, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna try your best not to give them any ammunition, and she giving them too much ammunition.
It was so much against her already, like you were saying,
And it's already stacked. It's
Right.
already stacked.
It's just,
And people who defending her don't really see it from that point of view, man. I see it from all points of view, man. I understand why she's doing it. I fully understand. And it's a sad travesty that it has to be this way because of what she went through. But you're no longer through that now.
No.
You have seen the other side of the rainbow. There was actually a gold pot underneath there for you. Stick your hands in there and be happy. Look at the colors. Some people don't get to that side of the rainbow. You have gotten there.
You did.
That's validation enough. You've done more for the sport. I mean, in the sport, not for the sport. You've done more in the sport than anybody, period, man or women.
She was the first 3-time undisputed in 4-belt era, right?
Yep.
Well, Bud did it. She had done it first. First 2-time, Yeah. But she trying too hard. All that stuff will come, man.
Way too hard, Cass. Way too hard.
Can't
She
nobody
gotta slow
take
down.
that away from her.
Yeah, she got to slow down.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this
Away.
ironically will do to her, because she gotta implore people outside that are smarter than her to address this if she's planning on addressing it. And in the process of doing it, they might tell her, hey, look, nah, you need to leave this alone. This was crafted. This was masterfully crafted so that it paints you in a certain light because she used your word in a time frame.
Have she responded to you?
No, she hasn't responded. I think what I was told was she's thinking about pursuing a suit for defamation of character.
But if it's true, she got receipts.
That's what I'm saying. You can't sue because they're your own words.
Yeah.
She used your own words. Now, what she can go at is the fact that she did say she was a bad representation, this, and that. And at the end, when she had done and that's what she shouldn't have done, because that was petty. That was, okay, now I'm going to get my dig back. She shouldn't have did it. She just let her words and her actions speak. And that's all she should have done, was just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But when you're constantly getting attacked for doing nothing but trying to help somebody, you human, you gonna feel some type of way, and you're gonna be like, yo, nah, she gotta feel a little bit of this. And that's what that was. But that being the case, man,
She can't say she was lying though, because like you said, it was her own words saying this stuff. So
true indeed, Cass. True indeed.
Best thing she can do is leave it alone and try to be better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just go out there, carry out the rest of her career, and like you said, be better.
That's all.
Be better. Be a representation of what a GWOAT is.
Yeah. Yep.
You say you're the GWOAT, then go out there and live
Act
it.
like it. Mm-hmm.
Act like it.
And one more thing though. What another thing, Trevor, when she started calling out the men, that was just straight disrespect. Keith Thurman, Ryan, I can knock them out. She know damn well she might get in there and get killed against one of them.
Well, not too far after that, she got in there with some scrub by definition to who she was calling out. Mm-hmm. And she got put out on the canvas, right?
Went to the car to get a knife. Talking about he had something in his glove. Remember? Wasn't that the same guy?
Yeah, it was. And it was like he was cool until she called him a pussy.
Yeah.
Like, and said he don't hit like nothing. So he smacked her one good time, and it wasn't even a hard punch.
Nope.
It just was a clean punch, and it put her down. And that's what I've been telling, like, man, I guess because she's like 5'9" or 5'8" or whatever she is, it feels like, she's the size of a man, that she can handle a man, that the muscle density is two different things.
Yeah, women are built
the muscle mass.
Yeah.
There's certain things.
Right.
There's certain things that they won't be able to do that men can do. And that's cool.
Can't take them. Those Ryan McGraw said catch her with a left hook to the body.
It's night. It's night. And Ryan Garcia fights at a lower weight than she does. Night.
Still night. Yeah.
So, but and that's part of humility. like I said, man, she was up for ESPY, and they gave it to
I know the basketball girl. What was her name?
yeah, and in her quote unquote congratulations, she took all types of shots and digs.
Yeah.
That's who she is, because unfortunately, she has taken a lot of shots and digs from all the way at being a child. So she only knows that.
And you know what all that does? She'll never get an ESPY now.
If I ever find this, it was this one biopic that showed how stress impacts the lives of people, and they use pigs. They took a pig that was in a stressed environment and put it into predicaments where it would have to think to get out.
Yeah.
And all you would do was see that pig get active and move around in circles and squeal. Never find it, even though the way out was right there. And the one that was placed in a loving environment, a caring environment, once it got put in the same thing, it swam until it found out, or it found the way out, and rather quickly and quietly. She has been in a stressful environment, and she has been in such a warfare against her psychologically that this is the noise and the behavior of it. This is the effect of it. And like I said, even when it's a way open to you to have someone support you and whatnot, you won't see it for that. You'll just move around real frantically and squeal. And that's what she's done. She's done that. And, unfortunately now, the way she put it together, it looks really, really bad. And that's why she's quiet right now, because she can't. Anything she says, she can't refute it. Yeah.
It was her own words. She can't respond.
It was her own words, and it was back time stamped. Yep. There was no way around it.
Nothing. There's nothing she can say.
Nothing. So the thing, like you said, she can do is move on with her career, represent herself better, and go out there and carry out, the mission. And that's to win another undisputed.
And you don't have to respond to everything, because you're a celebrity. Everybody's not going to like you, and everybody's not going to talk about you glowingly. Some people are going to say negative. You ain't got to respond to everything. You don't have to respond to everything somebody says bad about you. Just move on. Take the higher ground.
Absolutely. No, I follow you.
Yeah. But okay, T-Hill, we're going to get ready to, we get to going, man. It'll be like 8 o'clock.
All right then, man. Well, I appreciate you bringing me up. Again, a fantastic show. I would suggest that you actually do the topic, break it down in series, so we can have that one. That'll be a great topic right there.
Make it like a series.
Yeah, and then I think on top of that one, another good series would be the different commissions that are in play and how they impact the sport as well too.
Through the states and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So that would be because people don't understand what their part in a fight being put on is as well too. So yeah, man, I appreciate you, Kaz, man, and I appreciate everybody that stopped by. Shout out to the good brother Ryan Fraser, Boxing Up Talk Up North, for the support, for sending $6.99 to the good brother Kaz, also for just being here and present. Shout out to Technique as always, man, the way of things. Gulliver Marcelo, never seen you before, man, but shout out to you. The good brother Mike Ram, Define Irony 1, aka Irony Boxing, BVO Sports TV, aka the notorious BVO. Just Do Boxing, the voice who is on as we speak. You guys, if you're listening, govern yourselves accordingly and make your way over to Just Do Boxing, where you can get boxing, hear boxing, get his just due. Mike Mazik, the champ, and the lovely Miss Kaz, who shares my brother Kaz with us all over. You watching Kaz Sports, the Boxtorian, where you get a lesson about boxing every show. 2 o'clock shorty. That's 2 p.m. I believe this is Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Fridays. If you're watching, you like what you heard, you like what you saw, you like what you read in the comments, you can hit that like button. You can also hit that subscribe button. And next time that link is in the chat, you can like to hit that bad boy, and you can come and talk this thing that we call boxing, man, where you won't have nobody yelling, screaming at you. We discuss things and we learn from one another. And we appreciate the sport that has given us so many great moments throughout the years, throughout the times. And that's why he is the boxtorian, because they take note of things that happen all the way from the beginning to this point in time. So with that, you guys have a wonderful day. We out.